former Liverpool and Rangers player and manager and pundit here at talkSPORT, Graeme Souness is taking on an enormous challenge. He is swimming the channel to raise awareness and money for the charity DEBRA, which supports people with epidermolysis bullosa. That is a skin complaint, of course. And Graeme has become something of an expert on this because raising money for this charity has virtually taken over Graeme Souness's life. Graeme joins us live on the show this morning. Graeme, good morning to you. The moment is almost upon you. As I understood it, you were going to be swimming the channel with a group of guys on Sunday. Is that getting moved forward maybe to Saturday? How are you feeling?
Yeah, we're in the hands of the tide, Jim. It's first of all, good morning to you two rascals.
Good morning.
I'd love to say this. I'd love to be able to say how much I've missed you. No, so we're in the hands of the tide. We're due. The latest thing, I got something half an hour ago, that we're going to meet up at 9 o'clock tomorrow evening in Dover Harbour, and then we get in a boat and go around to a beach somewhere. Again, that's not specific because you have to work out where the best tide is to catch the tide. So if that's the case, we'll be starting in the boat 9 o'clock, first in 11 o'clock, and then we'll swim during the night in a relay. You know, I'd love to be able to say I'm going to swim the whole 22 miles, but maybe that's next year. But I'll do 2 or 3 hours, and I wish it was on the boat right now. I can't wait to get it done.
You can't wait to get it. Are you nervous about it?
No, I'm only nervous. The only thing that's the only sort of seed of doubt would be the water. But the captain's reassured us that if it's rough, his priority is the safety of us. But I think I've worked something out because I don't think he did say it's not just a guy in the water or the person in the water because we have a lady swimming with us. It's you guys on the boat. And I think he's more concerned about half a dozen of us throwing up on his boat. That'd put him out of business for a few days, wouldn't it? So
right.
I think we're in great hands, and that's the only bit of apprehension I have. If the water's too rough, that would just slow me down. But we'll get it done. Listen, if we don't get in the water this weekend because of the weather, we'll be available, and we're available now. We'll get it done. Whatever day we do it, we'll get it done. But right now, it looks like we're in the water 11 o'clock tomorrow night.
Gray, what sort of training? I mean, I've just looked at this. I've just looked at the Just Giving page, and you're at 917,000 now, aren't you? Out of a target of 1.1 million, which, by the way, is absolutely outstanding, and a lot down to you and the profile that you've given it. But what kind of training have you done? Because I know you've spoken to me about it, but what kind of training have you had to do to be in a position to be able to spend 3 hours swimming?
Well, it goes back 9 months. It was Lindsay, who's in charge of the PR at DEBRA. She said we need to come up with something that's going to get some attention, and I think it was her, but she's not admitting to it. Said, what about a swim? And I said foolishly, well, I'm a decent swimmer. So it came up with we'll swim the channel, and then obviously I spoke to my doctor and everything. I said, you're not going to swim it all on your own, but he's quite cool about it. That was 9 months.
It doesn't sound
ago.
like a Sounessism, though, does it? I'm a decent something. Because normally it's I am the very best at everything I do.
You're getting a first here today, okay? I have never regarded myself as the weakest link in any team I've ever played in. I'm more than happy to announce today to you guys, to your million-plus listeners, viewers, I am without a doubt the weakest link in this team by a country mile. But no, so the training has been getting up at 5:30. These guys are ex-military, so when they say we're wet at 5:30 tomorrow, or we're wet at 6 o'clock, or wet at 6:45 or 5:45, it means you have to be in the water at that time. You can't get out your car at that time. You have to be in the water. And if you're not there, then they'll just swim off without you. But the swimming's involved getting up, and I have to say it wasn't easy in the beginning because I said I'm a decent swimmer, but I quickly found out swimming in the Mediterranean and swimming in swimming pools is very different to swimming in the English Channel. So we've worked that one out. But it would mean getting up, say, 5 o'clock. I live near the beach, so a couple of minutes in the car down to the beach and walking across in the pitch black, walking across the sand that's crusted with frost. And I've a right plonker with my wetsuit on and my little gloves and booties on. and a hat with a green light
Don't need a
flashing.
wetsuit for that.
Because it's still, because it's still dark, so you've got a light in case you get lost in the dark. And it's just been, it's been great. If you ask any footballer on you that comes on your show, what do you miss most? The first thing they'll say is, I miss playing. And the second thing they'll say I miss most is the camaraderie, being around the guys for the banter and whatever else. So I've really enjoyed the last 9 months, and it's something I'm going to continue doing when I'm finished with the swim.
When you were prepping for it, Graeme, was there ever times when you thought, Christ, what am I doing here?
Yeah. I would say the first month, at least the first month, maybe the first 6 weeks, and it was like a switch being flicked. A big issue is, I keep myself reasonably fit. And I prioritise heart and lung because I think that's the most important thing you can get right if you're looking to get fit. So that was okay, but it's the breathing. And then it was like flicking a switch. I went in one day and was still puffing away. And then I went in another day. And it's about, what can I say? I'm no expert, but for me, it was relaxing and just getting into a stride that I was comfortable with. And I've increased that pace as I've gone along. I'm still nowhere near like the other guys. But I'm as you know, I'm quite a confident guy. And I wish I was doing it. And I wish I was on a boat now about to get in the water.
Do you know what, Graeme? It makes me think all the more commendable when you think, a number of years ago, you had a heart bypass. It's amazing.
That was 30 years ago.
Yeah, but it's amazing, though. All these years on, you're about to embark in something like this. It's fabulous.
Well, yeah, I have never, contrary to what any stories you may have heard, I've never been much of a drinker. I've always tried to look after myself. That happened to me. It was something I had to deal with. It was a genetic thing. I've dealt with it. And I'm here to, still to do some mad things. But can we talk about our charity for a wee bit?
Yeah, definitely. In a moment, we'll take a break, Graeme, and then we'll round it off. Before we do that, the charity. You're going to try and raise, and Simon mentioned it, 1.1 million you're going to try and raise to enable DEBRA, the charity, the butterfly skin charity, to clinically test drugs already available within the NHS that could improve the quality of life for people living with epidermolysis bullosa, EB. And of course, specifically, this beautiful young girl, Isla, to whom you become very close. Yeah.
Listen, this is the worst disease I've ever encountered. Just, everyone would have opinions about it, but this is the worst thing I've ever seen. And I believe you couldn't, if you were to some daft scientist was to manufacture something that was evil for us humans to have, this is it. This is it. You're born with it. You're born with it. And every single day, in different degrees, the recessive dystrophic that Isla has and other children I've met have, you're born with it. It gets worse. Every single day, you're in excruciating pain. You're itching all the time. 3 or 4 times a week, you have to have your dressings changed. And Isla has to go on diamorphine, fentanyl, and ketamine just to take the pain away. But it's just the daily grind. There's no, you wake up on a Monday, you've got a couple of difficult days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday will be good, Thursday will be great, Friday. These poor kids, and it is children, and it gets worse as they get older. They have no light at the end of the tunnel. And what we have to do, you're talking about repurposing drugs that are already on the market, that these clever scientists can make a cocktail or tweak them somehow that brings some relief. These kids have no relief. I'll give you an example. I was introduced 5 years ago. A young girl from Birmingham, Myra, and I was in her company again, and she's a lovely speaker and gets the message across better than I ever could. So 5 years ago, I meet her, and I bumped into her a few of these fundraising things. I'm with her on Thursday night, and I go over to her and I sit down and say, "How are you doing?" She said, "Yeah, I'm good." She said, and I hope I'm not betraying her confidence here. She says, "But my cancer's come back." Oh. I said, "Oh, that's bad news." And then she said, it was like you and I going to the dentist for a small filling. She said, "Oh, and I've had my hand cut off, but it's still come back. I've had my hand cut off. This is a beautiful young girl. I've had my hand cut off." It is the cruelest thing.
Yes. Yeah.
It's life limiting. They have no relief from it, zero relief from it. And we've got to find a way. We've just got to find a way to help these kids and ultimately find a cure for it, please.
Yes, God. Yes. Graeme, we're going to take a break in a second. Before we do, and then we'll come back with you. Before we do, can you just tell us, and many people are getting in touch while you're speaking to me and Simon and to everybody out there all over the country listening to talkSPORT, where and how can people donate?
Well, there's a Just Giving page, and the address is give.as/DEBRA Swim. So it's give.as/DEBRA Swim.
Graeme.
And if anyone can afford to give money, I know life's difficult for the vast majority of our population, but if you can give it, it's been an unbelievable response. People giving £5 and £10. People who obviously don't really have it to give, but they've dug in deep for this. So I'm absolutely
Graeme, I can tell you here, people are indicating that they want to give. They're listening to you and they want to give.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.